What is going on, guys? DBG here, and today we gotta talk about these sets. Jesus, lads, they're way too expensive. They are stupidly expensive. Like, Wade right here, you're looking at probably 350 to 400 for Wade. You're looking at probably, let's just say 250 on Oscar Robertson. Even though Robertson's way better than Wade. You're looking at $1 million MT for the first Worthy. Although realistically, if we start to look more at the Worthies, Worthy probably about 400k. That'd be my prediction, is that he'll probably settle at around 400k. Obviously, the 1 million, if you're paying over than 1 mil to get this guy, it's kind of crazy. Bosch probably close to 300, and Clyde over probably 350. I'd say when these bids end. So like you're looking at, let's just say Clyde, Bosch, and you're looking at probably 1.4 to 1.5 million MT. It's actually not that much worse. It's not that much worse than the Kareem. I still think the Kareem lock-in is worse, by the way. If you locked in Kareem early, I still think that's a worse lock-in. You're going to 1.4 million MT for a card that's a worse T-Mac, who's the same price, and you can sell T-Mac. I'm sorry, for these new edition cards here, you're only going to use Worthy. Worthy might make your team. That's a big might make your team. Bosch, whose team does Bosch make? You've got $1 million MT. Whose team does Bosch make? Whose team does Oscar Robertson? Oscar Robertson's not bad. Wade makes nobody's team. Wade doesn't make my team right now. Like, my point guards right now are... Then you have the Matisse Thibault. Wade doesn't make my team right now. So he's most definitely not going to make anyone's team. So, like, locking in that amount of MT, albeit Terry's great, is kind of crazy. But there are some crazier ones, like Dikembe Mutombo. So for Dikembe, you're looking at 200k for Ben Wallace. You're looking at, obviously he's not going to be 700k, but you're probably looking at 350k for Gordon Hayward. Because Dikembe might be the most sought after of all these cards. Probably 350k for Gordon Hayward, and these guys probably at 35k each, or 30k each. So, let's just say these three combine for 100. Rodman, De'Aaron, and Granger. Let's just say 350, 450k. You're looking at like 650k to 700k for Dikembe. And ironically enough, Dikembe is the best value of all these rewards because he is a card that if he was in the auction house would probably be 600 to 700k. Dikembe is as good as David Robinson. David Robinson is probably 600k. So I will say the only one, but the big thing is that of all these Signature Series cards, they all kind of suck. I'm sorry, they all suck. None of them make my team right now. But you're just getting a 700k card as a 700k reward. And it's just not worth it. Like if these cards were actually good, like if they didn't make it so that all of the Dark Matters were in the one set and all of the Opals were in one set, because these Opals are not very good. Like, nobody's using really any of these guys unless you're like a Unbeatable Jacob who's a big Ben Wallace fan. But you're looking at roughly 750,000 for Dikembe Mutombo. And like for 750,000, you can build a borderline gold squad for the price of Dikembe Mutombo. As great as Dikembe is. But Dikembe is the best value of all these. I don't think he's worth it, by the way. But I think he's the only player at 750k you could justify being worth it. Because you could make the argument that he's better than Kristaps, and Kristaps is like $1 million MT. He's like the one that you can argue might be worth it. I think Terry is just too expensive. I think you can maybe argue it here. You can't argue it with Eddie Jones because of the price. So OJ Mayo is around 20 to 25k. TJ Warren is 60k. He's 60k, lads. And for these cards here, I get it. The rest of these are cheap. The rest of these combine for 10. But, like, you're looking at 110k for a good Galaxy, a 6'6 shooting guard Galaxy Opal. 110k for him. I'm sorry. Like, if you look at these other sets, you look at the 6'6", 6'7 shooting guards, you're looking like 35k. None of these were really there in this set. There were no opals for that. Highlight reel. I mean, that archetype, again, unique, but obviously Dominique Wilkins at 15k. Dominique's way worse than Eddie Jones, I will say that. But like, you're looking at that height archetype, and none of them go for anything. None of them go for anything. Like, Eddie Jones is just that undersized 2-guard that's not going to really play in the game of height. And for 100k, like, if you were someone that got Warren really cheap, like if you had bought, say, Warren and when he was at 15k, and you got all the other guys for less than 10k, and then you're just paying 25k for Mayo, you're looking at, like, he's still expensive. Like, you're looking at 70k, which is still a crazily expensive price to pay for a 6'6" shooting guard. But at least it'll be a little bit understandable. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, because Eddie Jones is okay. He is okay. He's very good, in fact. He is a very, very good shooting guard. Because it's the way the game is played, he's not going to give you much more of an impact than like a pink diamond Cam Reddish who's like 10k MT. And then the worst lock-in of all. My God, lads. My God. This one right here. Don't be dumb. Don't lock in for that bomb, Jerry West. You're paying probably 11 to 12k for a boban. At least the rest of these guys are kind of cheap. You're paying like 3 to 4k for him. I wonder, Claxton's still expensive? Like, what price is Claxton? 15k. Like, 15k for Nick Claxton. Let's just say even if he is 10k. So you're spending 20k for these guys, and then these three right here are probably going to be cheap. Yeah. So I reckon, let's just say the other three probably average at about 4k each. So you're easily looking at like 32-ish k to lock in for Jerry West. At least the diamonds, they're not even that good, are they? It's not that dumb a thing if you just want to lock in for somebody. But like, if Jerry West was on the auction house, he'd be 15k. Like, we've seen it with these sets right here. Like, he's not as good as effective at his position as Aaron Gordon. Let's look at for the cheap. The cheap was like John Wall is 15k. John Wall's 15k. I'm sorry, it's not even a debate. John Wall is 100 times better than Jerry West. Like, he can actually dunk. He's bigger. He moves better. He shoots the ball better than Jerry West. He's faster. He's better on defense, and he got almost same at the badges. So, like, there's just no point locking in for any of these guys. There really isn't. Like, I understand the Jerry West lock-in, to be fair. Like, if you just want to lock in Jerry West to lock in Jerry West, I kind of understand that. I don't mind it. But, like, the only other lock-in that I could say could be justified is dikembe. Because unless you're somebody that has, like, 5-6 million MT... If you have 6 million plus MT, Terry Dischinger is that good that he might be worth it. And for a normal person, he's not worth it. Dikembe is going to be worth it today, but in like 2 weeks' time, there's going to be a better version of dikembe more than likely, with the problem of you can't sell dikembe. But the one thing about dikembe is he will be usable. He's not going to be good till the end. He's not going to be great till at the end of the year. Of the way the game plays, he will be usable at the end of the year. That's the one kind of saving grace for dikembe. Eddie Jones is a 30k card that costs 100k, and Jerry West is a 15k card that costs 30k. So I would say, even with the lock-ins, Terry Dischinger is going for market value, and so is dikembe and Mutombo. They're both going for roughly what they would if they were auctionable cards. And Eddie Jones and Jerry West are going for way more than they would if they were auctionable cards. But I would just advise nobody to lock in for any of these cards, to be honest. Unless you're just trying to do Jerry West for fun, or you really want dikembe. Or you're made of money and you can just get Terry.